Hey there, teacher friend, and welcome to day 4. We are almost done, and I just want to say how proud of you I am for keeping up with your homework assignments. All of your hard work, all of your prep, it is about to pay off and be put to the test. Today, we're going to finish with the odds and ends and get your cryptogram ready to share with your students. And although we've covered this activity over multiple days, I want you to know that once you become familiar with the template, you will likely be able to knock these out in 20 minutes or less. So don't get discouraged. Now, before we go on, you may have been asking yourself this question all along. Lisa, what the heck is a cryptogram? Well, a cryptogram is a word puzzle featuring encrypted text that the user decrypts to reveal a message. And for this activity, we are simply doing a letter replacement cryptogram. So your final wheel looks like this. Basically, the letters and the numbers line up to reveal the full cipher wheel when all of the answers have been entered correctly. Let's just say, for the sake of an example, that you want your mystery word to be school. Simply find each letter on the wheel and replace it with the corresponding number. So in this case, if you look at the wheel, S equals 17, C equals 21, H equals 23, and so on and so forth. Remember, yesterday I showed you a few fun ways that you can really get creative with your cryptogram. You can do a joke, a fact, a pun, a numerical code. You can even do missing letters. So in this case, we're going to use the same numbers that relate to the word school, but you'll notice the second letter is missing and the second to last letter is missing. This suggestion means that students have to use deductive reasoning skills to not only determine the missing numbers, then determine the missing letters, and then decode the whole word. This is a really great idea if you have advanced learners and you want to add in some differentiation. Now, I do want to give you a tip. Always place a dash between your numbers. Should your students see 172123 with no dashes in between, they won't know if the first letter relates to a 1, which corresponds to F, or if it is a 17 for the letter S. Also note that on your template, you're going to enter your new code, your new mystery word above the red box. This lets your students know that this is the word that they will be decoding. There are a few formatting no-nos that I want to go over with you to make sure your template works perfectly. Please do not change the height or the width of the cells. Should you choose to do so, you will see that it distorts the puzzle image and the wheel will not be revealed correctly. Please do not delete any unused cells. These sheets have been pre-formatted for you to make it as easy as possible. So should you delete cells, the answers may not be pulled correctly, and those preset functions would discontinue. And lastly, please do not copy and paste from one answer cell to another, because doing so also copies the preset conditional formatting of the cell, and that's going to negatively impact the final image outcome. When you share your template, your students will start on the directions page where they will see a few helpful tips for navigating the activity. Their next sheet is the read about it sheet. Go ahead and do this right now if you're ready. Once you've added your modified passage, you want to make sure you delete this column with all the extra teacher tips So right click on the B and choose delete column. That way you know this page is ready to go for your students. Then students will come to the question and answer page. Now I have already input the correct answers so that you can see the full wheel reveal. And lucky for you, there is only one place on this sheet that you need to do conditional formatting. Conditional formatting is essentially an if this, then that statement. And the only place you need to use it is here in this red box. Yesterday, your homework was to think of an 8-letter mystery word. So now I want you to take a second and determine what the code for your word will be based on the final wheel. Now you can either populate all of your correct answers, or inside of today's PDF, there's also a copy of the wheel key to help you find the corresponding numbers. So here's how this works. This is where you enter the numbers to your code. So the first letter or the first number of my code is 20. What I need to do is find the number 20 on the wheel, and that is an E, so I know my first letter is an E. The 3 is an X. The 18 is the A. And so my final answer is examples. Once I have decoded this mystery code, I enter the correct answer and it turns green. That's how I know that everything has been done correctly. Now, in order to do conditional formatting, in order to enter your new code, you will click on this box here. If the conditional format rules don't automatically show up for you, that's okay. You're simply going to go to Format, Conditional Formatting, and here they will appear. Now you'll see that this cell is essentially set up for you with two rules. A rule that turns the box red because it's incorrect, and a rule that turns the box green because the correct answer has been entered. We're going to click on the red rule, number 1. You will not change the range. You will not change the rule. You will not change the color. The only thing you need to add is your new mystery word. Then click Done. But we are not completely done because we have to add the word to both rules. Now we want to make sure the box turns green if they get it correct. Again, do not change the range, do not change the rule, but do change the mystery word. Now, if you have a mystery word or message that has multiple words, that's completely fine. But if you add a space, your students need to add a space. If they are missing a space, but they still decoded wow, yes, if they don't enter that space, it doesn't match your answer. So if you want multiple words, that is completely fine. Just make sure your students know where and when to add a space. Again, we're not going to change the color. We are going to click Done. Now, my examples is wrong, but when we put in the new mystery word of wow, it has been formatted correctly. So when everything has been entered correctly and the conditional formatting is done, the only thing we have left to do is protect our sheets. But before we protect them, we want to delete each answer to make sure that we don't run into a pop-up message in the future. And I'll show you an example of that pop-up message. So on this question page, basically, we do not want students to be able to change the directions here, down here. We don't want them to be able to change the numeric code, and we certainly don't want them to be able to change the questions. Therefore, we are going to protect everything that we don't want the kids to have access to. To prevent that access, we are going to protect this sheet. In order to do so, you are going to go to Data. You're going to choose Protect Sheets and Ranges. You're going to add a sheet or range, and we want to do a whole sheet, not just a range. But we're going to check this box because some of those cells are exceptions. We want the students to be able to type in their answers and type in their code. So you're going to select a data range. Once you click on that, head over to your cells, hold down Control, and choose all cells that the students will be entering their answers for. Don't forget the answer code. Then check OK. Now we want to set permissions. We want to show a warning message. That way if students try to edit something that shouldn't be edited, they get a pop-up warning. Let me show you. Technically, they can click into this box and start to change the question, but when they click out of the cell, they get this pop-up warning telling them, uh-oh, you shouldn't be here, and so hopefully they'll just cancel out of the message knowing that they shouldn't be there. So now that this page has been protected, make sure all of your answers are not visible. Make sure your answer code is not visible. Let's head over to sheet 2. Not only are we going to hide sheet 2, but we're also going to camouflage it. But remember, do not delete any rows and do not delete any columns because that will mess up the formatting that was pre-formatted for you when pulling answers. So now to camouflage this sheet, we are going to choose this box in the top left-hand corner, which essentially highlights everything on the sheet. And then for the text color, we're going to change it from black to white. And already answers have been masked. If you want to change these yellow boxes, you can, but we're also going to make it a little bit more difficult, so your students likely won't even see this. What you can do on this sheet, because the image is not here, and to mask or camouflage this sheet for your smart students, we're going to drag this row as far down as we can, which was row 5, and we're going to drag column E as far right as we can. So even if your students know how to unhide a sheet, they're still going to be stuck. They're basically going to be left with a blank screen. Now we will hide the sheet. You will click on this little drop-down menu here and simply click Hide Sheet. That's super important to do before sharing. And now we're ready to share, but let's just double check that there's nothing there that we don't want the students to see. The directions page looks good. The read about it page, oops, we need to make sure this column is deleted. So again, I showed you how to do that, but just a reminder, delete the teacher column. And then the questions and puzzles. Make sure all of your answer boxes are blank. Make sure your new mystery code is entered, and make sure where students enter the code is also blank. Now we are ready to share. In the top right-hand corner, you are going to click on Share, but we need to change access from restricted to anyone with a link. Not only do we need to change access, but we need to change their role from viewer to editor. Why? Well, essentially, when students are entering questions, they're actually technically editing the document. If you only allow them to be a viewer, they cannot enter the questions, which would in turn lead to all of the conditional formatting. So you want to change this to anyone with a link, an editor, and copy the link. Then head to a new URL and paste your link. But you are not done here. If you were to share this link with your students, if student 1 answers questions 1, 2, and 3, then all of those answers will automatically populate onto every student's template. So we want to make sure that each student gets their own unique copy. So to do so, you're going to delete edit and everything after it and replace it with the word copy. This is what you will share with your students. You will copy and paste this URL. So let's make sure it worked. Let's make a copy and make sure that we are good to go. Always double check to make sure the student vision is the way you intended it to be. So down here, there's no answer sheet. Whoops. You have the directions. You have the read about it with the teacher box deleted. You have the questions and puzzles. The image is scrambled. Students can start typing in an answer and it turns green and the image started to reveal. Voila, you are done. You now have a unique and engaging activity ready to share with your students. But one quick note, if you are using iPads, your students must download the Google Sheets app from the App Store because navigating on Google Sheets with an iPad is a lot different than navigating on the desktop. I hope you had so much fun creating this template. I hope it gave you some creative ideas and you can see engagement soar because we've added an element of mystery. Here's a quick recap of what we covered this week in case you need to go back and watch any of the videos. On day 1, you learned how to use AI to create reading passages. On day 2, we talked about finding and creating questions. Day 3 was all about inserting those elements into your own template. And day 4 was formatting and the finishing touches. Imagine a classroom where students want to complete their work and even beg to do more. Yes, that's possible. Imagine student accountability and a sense of urgency to complete a task. Imagine kids so engaged they don't even realize they're learning. Most students, unfortunately, don't walk into your classroom motivated to learn. So it's your job as a teacher to trigger that inner motivation. I hope your brain is now teeming with new and fun ideas for your next lesson or your next product line. Do you like what you've seen so far? Well, I've got some good news for you. Every template, every activity that I showed you in this video can be found inside Cloaked in Fun. Cloaked in Fun is an online course to help teachers or teacherpreneurs expedite the creation process by harnessing the power of templates to create professional, engaging, printable, and digital resources with a huge twist of fun. And if you're familiar with Think Tank, you know that everything I offer has a twist of fun and cloaks the learning. So if you want to infuse your TPT resources or even just your personal classroom with a dash of mystery, but you don't have the time or the energy to start from scratch, then Cloaked in Fun is the shortcut you're looking for. With 25 plug and play templates to choose from, you will never have to stop and wonder, what should I create next? Now, I do want to let you know that the platforms you'll use to create and receive the templates are PowerPoint and Google Sheets. So here's an overview of what's inside Cloaked in Fun. Module 1 is vocabulary activities. Module 2 is escape rooms and breakouts. Module 3 is gallery walks. 4 is scavenger hunts. 5 is color by number and comprehension. 6 is digital activities. 7 are some 1 to 2 page add-ons when you really need just something else as an extension activity or an early finisher activity. And Module 8 is full of bonus material like a monthly puzzle pack and clip art. Imagine creating activities like this. Every picture you see can be modified and created in Cloaked in Fun. Now, I do want you to know that the templates were built with social studies, science, and ELA teachers in mind in grades 3 through 10. However, math teachers and other grade levels can certainly use them, but many of the templates use a reading passage. So that's why I kind of specified those subjects and those grade levels. Ideally, the templates are for teachers looking to refresh their classroom or their TPT shop with a twist of fun without starting from scratch. And no, you do not have to be a TPT seller to benefit from these templates. But when you purchase the course, you get a commercial use license. So that means the option is there for you should you ever decide you want to sell them online in the future. From escape rooms and scavenger hunts to secret messages, gallery walks, and magic word searches, you will definitely find something that cloaks the learning for your audience. So, just a couple reviews that I want you to see. They say, I think there's so much value in the course. Yes, this course got my creative juices flowing. I think the course over delivered, easy to follow and easy access, and brilliant templates that I never would have been able to come up with on my own. As an experienced TPT seller, I immediately know I wanted to add something like this to my shop. And I've been selling on TPT for 8 years. And I have to admit, I was hesitant to grab this course because I worried it was just for beginners or that it would lack the quality I need for my store. I am so glad I followed through and put my fears aside. Basically, think of Cloaked in Fun as a template vault for teachers and TPT sellers. And the best part is you can start wherever you want. If you want to dive right into creating an escape room, go for it. When you join, you will get instant access to step-by-step, over-the-shoulder video tutorials, 25 editable templates, 6 ways to make your product stand out, graphics, clip arts, fonts, and doodle fonts, PowerPoint tips and tricks, printable creator notes, lifetime access and access to any future updates, a commercial use license to sell what you create with the templates online in your own store, plus some bonus tutorials. Whether you simply want to use the templates in your own personal classroom or modify them to sell online, this is the best time-saving gift that you can give yourself. And as a special thank you for staying until the end, when you join today, you can grab the course for $247 when you use the coupon code TEACHER50. Again, use the coupon code TEACHER50 at checkout to bring the price of the course from $297 down to $247. And the good news is there are payment plans available. I'm not sure when I'm going to offer or open this course again, so lock in your price today and go ahead and click the button below to grab this limited time offer. What are you waiting for? Click the button below and join today. I can't wait to see you inside.